sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me.
We've been able to keep going because we know each other, and we've been able to share those laughs and those tears and our fears and our good times with the people immediately around.
Somebody to lean on. Please, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on, lean on, lean on, lean on, lean on,
What's so good about that?
Well, it's 30 years old, we haven't used it for 30 years. We had no communication with Telstra. We had no landlines. We couldn't get reception on the mobile phones, and it was dire straits for a long time. We couldn't even get called out to a fire because there was no communication, and that was one of the really bad things, and that happened for months until we got a satellite phone for the captain of the fire brigade, and that was good, but he was the only one who had it, so we still couldn't get anybody. So at Mount Lagoon Road, it was dusty, the lagoon was nearly dry, but we still had water. Animals were on the road. There was a lot of dead animals, especially when the fires came through. It was a very stressful year.
How did you keep going, Bill?
I don't know. I really don't know. It was more of just doing. You get down to the fire share at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're lucky to get home by 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And if you day after day after day when you're doing that, and it got closer, and then we sort of had a break. If the fire was near your house, we stopped. Lucky we had water around the house.
My name's Aaron Brocken. I run Harvest Farms. It's a small market garden with subscription members, and I've been restoring a few old orchards in the area for about 6 years now. I'm trying to keep the food culture alive in the area. The pressures were on a number of different reasons. I guess, yeah, watering, as Bill said, watering was pretty constant, having to do it 2 or 3 times a day. There was a bit of stress in the planning of things in terms of expanding the market garden or continuing on with things, whether it was a good idea to put money into marketing, put effort into marketing, or keep it going. Yeah, when the fires actually started, Mount Tomah was on fire for about a week, and I think, as Bill said, it was tricky for deliveries. I do deliveries down to Sydney, so that was tricky getting down, not knowing if you could get back up to the farm too. So you just had to pick your times, I guess, to try and get down. Again, you'd leave the farm a few times, and then the fire would creep up. Mount Tomah crept up on a few different angles, so you'd have to go and put it out again. So that was pretty stressful because you never know how long you could leave for, so you're just trying to sneak in, keep the business running.
We're much better prepared for the droughts now than we used to be. We've got more water storage and more efficient at applying the water. So it's not as bad as the drought in the late 70s when fruit on those trees was literally shrivelling up. One of the effects of the drought, of course, was the bushfires, and that in Bilpin, the two have often happened together, as it did in the 70s. 78 was we evacuated through bushfires, and 2019-20 or whatever it was, we evacuated because of the bushfires. The place was shrouded in smoke for a considerable time, and apples such as this are swamped with various hydrocarbons or gases, if you like, that occur through the smoke. And some of those are things like ethylene, which affects the skin of the fruit, and that makes them more subject to fungal attack. And so we did lose a lot of fruit from fungus diseases last year after that fire. As many people remember, we went from one extreme to the other. We went to, by February, we had one of the wettest Februaries. I think the second wettest February ever recorded in Bilpin, with something like 550 millimetres here and further more up the road. So those conditions, wet conditions and damaged skin, means that fungus diseases took off in some of the blocks, and that was a big loss for us, bigger than the direct losses in the fires. Yeah, well, the future of farming and orcharding in Bilpin is all to do with agro-tourism, I'm sure. It's only, less than an hour from a fairly big population centre in Western Sydney, so a lot of people there. And looking at the houses, they're so close together, you'd want to get out of them as fast as you can, I reckon, and come to somewhere where you can actually stretch your legs.
I just bought half a tin of petrol that out. Yeah.
But there is
Nothing stops the spinning.
Doesn't matter how hot or cold it is.
We have an allegiance to wool. A lot of us are a little bit anti-alpaca.
We're a great attraction for the customers at the restaurant. They love to see us spinning. Well, for me, it's almost a form of meditation. It's just so relaxing, and you end up with something that's really nice and will last forever. You can't wear out hand-spun sweaters. So I'm afraid I'm a bit of a wool fan. Well, I've been spinning for 45 years. I took it up when my second child was about 3 weeks old and I could see nothing but nappies. So, and I've been spinning ever since because I just love the feel of wool and making stuff from scratch. And it beats a lot of the synthetic fibres.
Because of as Dawn was saying, the properties of the wool, we've really learnt to appreciate what a good fibre it is. As soon as I had enough space, I had my own sheep and got the wool from that and spun from it.
Well, this Bilpin lot, we are part of Kurrajong Handspun Crafts, and in 2000, I suppose, we all got together to participate in the International Wool Challenge, called the Back-to-Back, where we shear the sheep, spin the wool, and knit a sweater in a day to fit the shearer. And there's a team of 8. One of them's the shearer and the rest of us are spinners and knitters. And we participated in this for quite a long time, and it was a big thing in Bilpin at that time.
I'll say.
And was a fundraiser for the Cancer Council for us, and for 8 years in a row we actually raised the most money in the world for the event. We were very proud of that. So, and we've just continued to spin, and I've done a few calculations and figured out there's more spinners in Bilpin than any other suburb in the Hawkesbury.
I would say that a lot of the call to join the spinning group is social. I think if you ask everyone in the group, they probably say that
Yes.
part of the reason they come is just to communicate and share.
Social aspect.
It's just been a most amazing way to get involved in the community. First of all, I love the spinning, but it has been friendships and getting into a community that have been so welcoming and so just fabulous. And through whether it has been fire or drought or coronavirus, they've just been supportive and doing something I love. You couldn't ask for more.
I would just like to say how supportive the spinning group was when we were hit with the fires. And I could go and talk to them and complain to them, and they would commiserate with me. And yes, so that was a great help.
Yeah, g'day, how you going? My name's Derek Keir. I'm a member of the Bilpin Shed, and we're down here at the Currajong Heights Bolo Club, which is where the Bilpin Shed's located. So I'm here today, one, to share some of my creativeness, if you like, to fellow members and the community, wider community of what I do.
All right, good afternoon all. Thank you for coming along to start with. I really appreciate the support. So my name's Derek Keir. I'm a new member of the Bilpin Shed. I want to extend my gratitude to the Bilpin Shed members for opening their arms and letting me come down here, because it's a bit of an outlet for me.
I've got a raw piece of timber, which is reusing the resources that I can find around here, and I'm going to be carving this with a chainsaw. I'm going to actually turn it into the shape of a feather with all the markings and everything using the chainsaw. So hopefully people enjoy what they see, and we'll see how it turns out. It's something that I've started since last year, so I've only been doing it around about 6 to 9 months now. I've always had a bit of a flair for something different and unique, so I thought I'll give this a try, and I've actually really enjoyed it, so I want to be able to pass on that knowledge to other people in the community.
I mean, I've been through quite a few fires, and I've been through quite a few droughts too, so you sort of know that we'll get through. There's anxiety and you feel a lot of, there is that uncertainty as well, because it's uncharted waters too, That's we've never been through there before, so you don't know how it's going to pan out.
I had a phone call from an off-duty RFS member, and they said to me, just get out of there now, and the tone of her voice told me I needed to go, that I didn't hesitate, jumped in the car and went.
It was terrifying, even whether you were there or not. It was actually possibly worse being evacuated because you weren't there to help and defend, and you really didn't know what was going on the ground. So you could only imagine, and sometimes our imagination gets away from us. So we were all very frightened. There's a lot of rumours that a lot more buildings were taken.
But we came together really well. It was amazing. I just remember that day very clearly, that we were all in the room. It was a really hot day, and we were preparing for the fire coming, as it were. So we went to the fire shed, and there's hundreds of people up there. So that was a very important thing. And then we discussed plans about how we would leave and how we would deal with the fire as it came. And we put that plan into action too, so it was really good. And we've still got very strong relationships now with our neighbours because of that.
A random post came up on Facebook saying, "Is anyone in Johnson's Road?" And I didn't know the name, and I said, "Yes, I'm here." And I just started talking to someone across the road that I didn't actually know there was a house in the location. And she actually said to me, "We need all of us in one group, we need to all talk." So one of our street members was down the hill, and someone who was still on the road who wouldn't evacuate because they were protecting their property said, "We have a spot fire, we need help, we need the fireys here."
There are an elderly couple in there and a young girl, and I was in constant support and contact with them, which made me feel better about actually leaving, that I could offer some sort of assistance to help them.
She kept calling. I think she called maybe 3 times, and eventually they came. So that was someone that wasn't actually even on the road, still able to connect with us and help. So having that group was pretty amazing for that sort of thing too.
We finally got 2 units there that actually saved their home and rescued them and put that massive spot fire out.
All of a sudden, you're all connected quite strongly with your neighbours, and you know, a lot of the ego and a lot of your sort of, I guess, the barriers you feel with other people tend to go away because you've all got this common enemy, I guess, you know.
Everyone has a different story, and every individual story is so real and so such a big impact on people in different ways. And we have to be so aware of that when we're talking to other community members or anyone. I mean, even people that aren't even here are impacted and so stressed from it, of course. So everything is real and everything is worthy after such a big, crazy thing going on.
I sort of believe in the human spirit too, and you know, humans are very individualistic, but once the chips are down, it's incredible how people can come together and have a common mind almost.
Because when we bought our land in Bilpin some time back, we were warned that you can expect every 10, 12, 15 years some reasonably serious fire. But I don't think anyone expected it to be as serious as this was.
The flames were massive. They were 8 metres above the tallest gum trees across the road, and extremely scary actually. This obliterated everything. Very lucky to have our house still standing.
There's something that we've learned up on this mountain, and that is that we're a lot stronger and a lot more resilient than we realise. The anniversary gives you a chance to look back and to assess where you've come from, but also rebuilding means there's something new in the future for you. And if you can take the best of what's behind you and weave that into a better future, it is exciting.
We've gotten through the last 12 months, don't know how. A lot of determination, a lot of hard work. We've got a long way to go, but we'll get there.